Vsauce meme here. I want to talk about death grips for a moment. As you can also see, I have my trusty laptop to project some meme images for me to fill in my dead space of comedy. Dead Space, the video game, 2008. I poo-poo pee-peed my pants when I was 8.
It's gross. I hated it.
Your mom hates Dead Space too.
We don't have a society.
My fascination with experimental music expanded around the time of September last year. It led me into discovering albums by Days and Days like Rogue Taxidermy or Skrillex's Bangarang or Machine Girls. Because I'm young, arrogant, and hate everything you stand for. And The Ugly Art. All which have in common edgy boy elements. So with that wanting said, to kind of just lay back on the edginess of it, I want to have a pre-soft boy moment just before we get into it. Watch me whip, watch me nay-nay, my name Jeff. I don't know who I got that from. Please stay away from me. Experimental is usually the term I use for 90% of the music I listen to because I cannot describe the genre they actually are, due to my lack of knowledge in music. Crystal Castles, what is their genre? Punk rock, electro clash, synth pop, and witch house. The fuck are these? Fuck you, compile that together and it's experimental. That's my second definition. Listen, I'm no flannel man, but I digress. Though there is one band in particular that planted that seed of curiosity, but then sprouted my interests. And that was... I was supposed to do a big reveal for this, I'll just do it anyway. And that was... Death Grips. Death Grips. Death Grips. Death Grips, baby! What did you think it was? The best band of all time. This is the title of the video. What did you expect? Death Grips is made up of 3 people. Stefan Bernay, the choir boy. Zach Hadel, and Andy Morin, Dr. Eggman's socialist cousin. Now, Death Grips to the normal eye of someone who normally listens to mumble crap usually sees this as a very... weird, unusual band. They'd be right. And with them being seen as weird, unusual, and edgy, of course, Stefan Bernay is the most edgiest of boys.
At one point in my life, I was more inspired by people. But as I've grown, humans aren't really I don't really look to that for inspiration that much anymore. Of course, I like Jimi Hendrix.
I'm so freaking mad!
Stefan, I understand that completely. We all look into our own ways of inspiration, whereas you look into psychedelics and shouting because your mother wouldn't take you to McDonald's. Oh wait, that's relatable. Death Grips has gotten more popular and you see so many people talking about them, and their average fan is usually boiled down to whatever I have linked to my Google Docs. This is here. I don't know what it's gonna be. There are already videos around on YouTube breaking down Death Grips and the big Minecraft ride, and even they struggle to fully understand it because they're just so ambiguous, just like Dark Souls' storyline. Wait, could Death Grips be the Dark Souls of music? No, it isn't.
Hello.
Death Grips will always hold a special place in my heart, as it being the first concert I've ever attended and the only concert I've ever attended. I have a clip of it somewhere on my Snapchat. I'll put it up here. Here's I'm Alex. He was at it too. We invited him. He doesn't like Death Grips. Brixton, London. Nearly got stabbed a couple times. The concert was so intense, I didn't even go into the mosh pit because they were throwing fucking beer cups everywhere. I wanted to avoid getting soaked in sweat and piss and cum. Going home the next day, I had an earache. I went to go check in with my GP and it turns out my eardrums had quivered up like a cod scrotum. And despite that, I'd say it was worth it.
Get so fucking dark in here!
Death Grips has this really unique euphoria in the majority of their tracks. Even sometimes I'll mistake it for a Spotify ad coming up. It sounds like a bunch of noise and sound effects mushed together, but over time, the life of rhythm just grows on me. Government Plates and Powers That Be have really shifted my taste on the band and the genre. It's like anti-music, mostly from how obscure and grotesque some of the tracks are. For example, Birds. What is that noise? I mean, it sounds kind of good, but who made that? What is it coming out of? It's kind of catchy, but it adopts a freaky aura. I like experimenting listening to different sorts of music, but I'm really specific in what sweetens my now repaired ears. For example, the female sounding a cappella in Black Quarterback has a floaty feel to it, and I feel like I'm flying. And yes, I know that a cappella is a sample of a person called Bjork. I'm sorry, I just forgot to say it. Big Dipper, it has a very jumpy rhythm. I think it sounds like it would be good for the club. No club wants to play Death Grips ever. Can we establish a law for that? Hello, House of Parliament, can we make Death Grips in every club by law? But towards the end of Big Dipper, I usually find myself skipping past it because it's like a schizophrenic with epilepsy just fell over the synthesizers. Break My Mirrors with My Face in the United States has an energetic tone, which I usually find myself flailing around to very incoherently. Just like that one time I OD'd on JoJo Siwa vlogs. That's just a comedic excuse. I don't watch that shit. And that's the charm of it. Listening to them though, I feel has really tapped me into a niche area of music. Sometimes I'll go on the Spotify page and look at the recommended artists and start listening to them. I might find a few good people, I might not. I feel like it really has developed my taste in my music. And I think it's a good trait to have expanded on what you can listen to and what you can enjoy. Back to Machine Girl, another artist whose identity is super vague. Athoth Agogo? Is that how you say it? I sound like I have a lisp. Athoth Agogo. I feel like it has a really neat midsection where it feels kind of like inspiry like. To me, it's rewarding to listen to the grungy start to get to that inspiry midsection. But whenever I'm in the mood for it, I'll listen to I'm Arrogant and Hates Everything You Stand For. And I'll just, I'm buying V-Bucks. I want that new skin and you can't do anything about it. Though I'm not insane, I just have a lot of energy from those sort of tracks. Please keep the police off of me.
Raw moment warning.
But if it wasn't for Death Grips, I wouldn't be interested in this sort of music. It expanding my tastes, and I have a lot of appreciation for that. I'd find it very weird and just out of place, and quite frankly, not music. I would agree, music like this is an acquired taste and isn't for everyone. I've shown a lot of people this sort of stuff, and they hate it. They hate it at first, but some people like it. I'd say about 80% of my friends hate Death Grips, but I'm just some special delinquent, but you know, that's just me. This sort of music definitely falls into a smaller group of meth heads. Alright, glasses off. Music is such an important aspect to my life, and I think life would be so mundane without it. It's like a heart pacer, but for ears. What if it never existed? Would we know what music is? Would we care at all? Because we wouldn't know what music would be. So we wouldn't care. So we wouldn't think life is mundane. Maybe we'd be with music, I'm happy to go back and forth between something like this to this. I find myself noticing the amount of samples that Death Grips use, and they transform it so much that it's kind of unrecognizable nearly, or the samples that they use are so niche that you would never have heard of them. I mean, who knew that Get God's bass track was a sample of So Halal ringtones by a Spanish guy? Not me! That is cringe, bro. Unsubscribe. That meme was outdated. That is cringe, bro. What am I doing with my life? I tend to just throw a bunch of tracks together in a Spotify playlist to spice things up so I don't consistently listen to one artist or genre, mainly for the reasons of like extending the expiry date of music for me. The music videos are definitely something in itself. They're super vague, so that makes it modern art. Just like really vague movies that don't tell you the story or what's going on, and they expect you to, for the sake of being art. Giving bad people good ideas. The funny shoe, it's talking. I wish I could give people bad ideas. Big House, it's a good track. It's really questionable. I mean, the spinning spider. Speaking of spiders, there's one in my room right now and I can't find it. One of which is really confusing, is Streaky. No, don't do that. You go blind. And what the fuck is that in the corner? I guess I find myself having a big fascination for weird and unprecedented things. Death Grips makes absolutely no sense to me, but that's my ignorant bliss leading me on, and that gives me a superior taste of music compared to all those mumble crappers. Tekashi 6ix9ine, Rat. Let's talk about Stefan and the band for a minute. They are so ominous and so mysterious, and I feel like that adds to their character. If you weren't confused enough, you're gonna be extra confused by the people themselves, because who the fuck are they? No one knows. There are a couple interviews out there which, you know, they're pretty surface level and they talk about music and their inspirations, and Stefan's like, I don't look into humans for inspiration. I do like Jimi Hendrix though. Much like Stefan, as the incel he is, he never smiles, except for one photo. Because Zach surprised him on his birthday! Look how happy Stefan is, and Zach's just giving him a birthday cake. It's crazy. Although I wish that image was real because I photoshopped it. I'm like a boy with action figures. The music video footage holds a lot of obscure photos from whatever that is. On top of that as well, it also sprouted the moth image. I don't get it. And can I just say, Death Grips memes, they're kind of funny. I will defend that with my life. You've got this moth, this moth, this moth from Dark Souls, and this moth.
You're going crazy. You need sleep. You're playing too much Fortnite.
The original image did not have a giant moth, believe it or not. It's crazy, I know. I want to know, whoever started this meme, why they added a moth to that image. It's funny nonetheless, and I give it a 10 out of 10. Anyway, thank you for watching. I just wanted to talk about my experience with Death Grips. Nothing factual at all. It was really personal to me because for some reason, for some odd reason, God knows what, maybe my left nut will know why I like them, and I just wanted to have a casual hot minute to discuss them. Next video will be on why Senator Armstrong should be president in 2020.
We don't need them around to mean any longer.